Let's talk firstly about how they're similar. All professional services firms sell their services. And to deliver those services, it is done via them sharing their CV, their bio, their resume, and sharing whether it's a case study, a project sheet, an experience record, some way to show that they've done this successfully in the past and they have experience in doing that. But under professional services, we put things like accounting firms, consulting firms underneath there, probably mainly those two areas where it starts to kind of blur together. And they have a lot of similarities. It's always got those elements to the same documents. Sometimes they're producing one-pagers, like our friends at Forbes produce a ton of these kind of smaller proposals. Sometimes they're producing complex RFP responses. So response type documents that have a lot of narrative, a lot of information inside of those documents, and they want to capture those pieces out. In almost all cases, the person selling is the person doing as well. So they're called different things. They'll be called an accountant if you're dealing with an accounting firm. They'll be called a consultant if you're dealing with a consulting firm. But they're effectively the person that's going to deliver on it. And then for the bigger deals, they're dedicated proposal or RFP or tender teams that help them deliver those big, high-value documents. Content management is one of the key areas of that. And some of these firms are, multinationals, as we've discussed. And so they need a lot of complexity around how does my UK office categorize all my bios? How does my UK office categorize the experience that I have, but also do it by segment, language, company size. So that content management piece is really key in getting all of that stuff neatly structured so that AI can use that and can benefit from that. Once that's structured though, you're having repeatable templates where it pulls from that structured content source. Agents are maybe doing some specific work there, but just pushing those types of documents out really rapidly, but in a consistent way. That drives up quality, it drives down non-billable hours, and it means that those firms are actually ultimately able to either drive their revenues higher or even get to lower rates because they're doing higher volume of work. Pretty much the same skills as some of the others that we've discussed. So how do I get content into my system? How do I capture a new case study that's come up? How do I make sure that the CV is up to date? How do I capture information about a particular practice area and keep that up to date? Agents will help to be able to achieve that. And then agents find the right content to use in the right documents. When it's going into a small document, it's really about like a templated process. Like I can just get this and answer it. But when we're dealing with a high value, complex pitch, it's about evaluating, do we want to do this? Can we win it? What's the best answers and content in there? Have we answered everything? Is this the highest quality? Does it have a good design? The agents cover all of those areas to deliver. It really depends on the company. We've seen certain firms that are really embracing AI and the tech, and they're wanting to get on that. And that's driven from their leadership team down, trying to push that in their clients. Others are very hesitant, don't trust it, don't believe it's valuable yet. And it really comes down to the culture of that firm versus a particular industry. The one industry I will say that's really being forced in a way to do this is the legal industry, because there's a lot of talk about the practice of law being handled by some of these tools. So these firms are looking for the practice of law, and it's now forcing them to look at the business element of the law firm and see, can we use AI to make our law firm more efficient as well? For the leader of the BD firm, they would pick us because firstly, they need a tool to help them win and pitch, right, in a much better and a more efficient way. So they're really interested in winning more business. But secondly, they choose QorusDocs because their accountants or consultants will adopt our software much quicker because it's integrated into their CRM systems, into their Office applications. It works against their SharePoint environment that they're very familiar with. There's less work to move content into different areas and different formats because it's tied in there. And because of the depth of investment that we have specifically in these areas around AI.